And we are back and we're talking more copywriting. So in my last video, we talked 3 basic principles in 3 minutes, and I guess copy's still in the mind because today I want to talk about techniques that advertisers are using pretty consistently to promote their products. And loving the short series on copy where you can take stuff from these videos and just instantly apply it to your product or service, and loving that they're short, so why don't we get into it? The first one that I want to talk about, you already know intuitively, and you probably would have put this up in a list, but it is fear advertising. So it is very common for advertisers to use things like, don't miss out on this sale. But you can also play this a different way, a more intricate, a more subtle way. Things like, avoid these 3 mistakes, or don't do these things, where you're instilling fear, where if someone does this or doesn't do it, then it results in a negative outcome. And that's a really common and effective way to advertise your product. And if you're thinking about how to incorporate this into your own business, I'd start by first realizing what the benefit is of your service. And then that means that the cost would be whatever the opposite of having the benefit is. So if you're able to review a bunch of proposals to find the best one, the cost of this would be that someone may overpay for something. So you would advertise, don't overpay, or here's why people overpay. And that would be the fear. Fear advertising, super effective tool. The next one I want to talk about is a little more nuanced, and it's new customer language. So oftentimes in business, bringing in new customers is the most important, if not one of the most important things a business can do. And when we think about this in a few different ways. One would be offering a new customer special, where we just come up with what the special is and we try and advertise it. Or we use different ads to advertise our full price product or our discounted product. But very seldomly are these two working together to come up with the secret recipe. And I'll give you an example of a secret recipe with Hubble contacts. So they came up with this introductory special, $1 for 30 days worth of contacts. And they've been running these ads for years, literally for years, the same type of intro special. And it's because they found the right pairing here of ad copy and special where people just couldn't say no to it. What I'm trying to get to is this language, you can sensitize it, you can test it. And when you're thinking about your product, instead of just discounting 20% for new customers, or instead of just using ad language that's different ways of framing your product, that see if there's any wiggle room to mesh these together and come up with fun ways to present your new product or service to someone where they just can't say no to it. And the last one I want to talk about is creating premium language. And this is really fun. It's a way to look at your product and see what differentiates it from everything else. And I'm going to use some examples that come to mind right now, just things like private school. So I know for private school, they advertise like low student teacher ratios, or even with like private colleges. And that's just a fun metric that was created and instills the sense of importance now on how few kids are in the classroom. I mean, you could probably argue that having more kids leads to more collaboration, but the fact that there are so few kids with each teacher now means that people want this ratio. They want a low student to teacher ratio, and it's become really important. And this language exists everywhere. And sometimes it is super important and valuable to call out, and you just need to find it and surface it. And other times people are able to just create things that seem important out of nothing, out of small differences that they have. So when you're thinking about your product, is there anything that is special about your product that is something that you almost assume everyone knows about it, but you can call out because it's a little bit different? Okay, if you like this video, I would love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. We talk things copywriting, concrete things that you can use in your everyday life when it comes to business, and just learnings from my experience working with startups and even some bigger businesses like Fortune 500. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.